Tonight on the news, Governor Fubara harps on massive sensitization on biodiversity. Lawmakers decry Northwest economic decline. Plus, file annual tax reforms. Chair on fiscal policy tax tells Nigerians. River State is the treasure base of the nation. Let's build and take her to greater heights. It is a task we must accomplish. This is the world news and it is on River State Television. And we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Rstv Online. Just do us a favor and click on that bell so you get notifications when we are live in the studios. My name is Obubele Barapaka and I welcome you to the news. River State Governor Sir Siminala Ifubara has called on the State Cares Steering Committee to ensure escalation of sensitization across the state on the need to sustain biodiversity and collaboration. The State Chief Executive stated this at the Brave Cares Phase 1 Performance Review retreat held at Onne, Eleme local government area. Gatwanili reports that the program was organized by the Office of the Auditor General in conjunction with the State Cares Coordinating Unit. We'll come with the full report of that story as we go on with this news. Meanwhile, the River State government has dismissed claims that it denied the organizers of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors Inauguration Rally, supporters of Nyesom Wike, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, the use of the Yakubu Gowon Stadium. The government described the allegation by Ambassador Desmond Akawo and echoed by other speakers at the event as false and politically motivated. Correspondent Tamno Barabi Wilwo takes it from here.
Located in Elekaya community in Port Harcourt, the Yakubu Gowon Stadium has been under construction since last year for upgrade of its facilities. Conducting journalists around the stadium, the coordinating commissioner for sports, who is also the attorney general of the state, Chris Green, alongside the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Information and Communications, Onosira Wo, said there was no way any activity of whatsoever kind can take place in such construction site. Green insisted no application has also been received, nor response made to whoever about the use of the stadium for any activity. He explained that with the ongoing major reconstruction work at the stadium and the space filled with heavy equipment, including the main pitch having over 40,000 pipes buried beneath it, the place is simply not safe for social or political gathering.
The hazards here are such that you cannot even use here for anything. You cannot use here for anything. I have not received any application, and if anybody says I've received any application, let the person show me. Let me have the proof. Let's have the evidence that an application has been given and the application was rejected. No application has been given, no application was sent to me, no response was given, nobody was rejected from using this place. And of course, ordinarily, we will want to apply to use this kind of place. It's not possible.
The Permanent Secretary for Information and Communications, Onosira Wo, also confirmed that no request was received by any government office. He stressed that the state government fully supports President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and has made alternative venues available for political and public events.
Any facility of government that is available, that request is made for, not just for the president alone. As long as that move will bring glory and development to River State, the River State government will give it. We've been doing that in the past and will continue to do that.
Site engineer of the Money Michelin Sports Facility Construction, the company in charge of the work, Ibitenye Michael, warned that the project, now about 55% complete, is at a sensitive stage and unsafe for public access.
There are hazardous environments for non-safe activities. So if you're not properly coordinated, you might end up getting injured, sincerely speaking. So the area, the facility, as far as I'm concerned, it is not safe for public usage till after the construction of this facility.
The River State government therefore insists that the decision to restrict access to the stadium is strictly for safety reasons and has nothing to do with politics. Tamuno Barabi Ibulubo, Rstv News.
Chairman on the Presidential Task Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, has urged Nigerians to file their annual tax returns. Oyedele hosted this during a webinar organized for human relations managers, payroll officers, CFOs, and tax managers in collaboration with the Joint Revenue Board, said both employers and individuals must comply under the law. In the webinar, which was posted on YouTube on Friday, Oyedele said many Nigerians remain non-compliant in filing self-assessment returns. He explained that in terms of filing returns, citizens need to file annual returns as employers for their employees, noting that many people have done that already, and stressed that those who have not done so only have a couple of days left to file those returns, including projections of how much you will pay your staff. Christian leaders in southern Kaduna have called on the state government, security agencies, and local communities to take urgent steps to protect worship centers and secure the release of abducted worshippers, warning that affected families are experiencing deepening trauma. The call came Saturday by the chairman of the Southern Kaduna Christian Leaders, Apostle Emmanuel Kure, during the 2026 Southern Kaduna Prayer Summit with the theme Worship His Majesty, held at the Kafanchan New Township Stadium. Apostle Kure said gathering was not only a spiritual exercise but also an opportunity to appeal for swift government intervention, expressing concern over the lack of visible progress weeks after recent abductions. According to him, it is almost 2 weeks and nobody has been released, noting that in other cases, early government intervention often led to quick release of victims. While thanking God that no deaths have been confirmed among the abducted worshippers, he highlighted the emotional and psychological trauma faced by families, adding that even journalists covering the incidents were moved to tears. He decried that young children in affected communities were particularly impacted. Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barrow Jibrin, and the Chairman, Senate Committee on the Northwest Development Commission, Senator Babangida Hussaini, has called for a coordinated economic rescue of the Northwest, warning that years of fragmented development efforts have deepened the region's challenges. They spoke at the Northwest Development Summit held at the Umar Musa Yar'Adua Conference Center, Kaduna, where lawmakers, development experts, and other stakeholders gathered to deliberate the future of the region. The summit themed Advancing a Coordinated Regional Development for Northwest Nigeria served as a platform for confronting what speakers described as a core problem of the zone, not lack of resources, but lack of coordination. Barrow said the Northwest must deliberately reposition itself to influence Nigeria's economic direction by strengthening regional institutions rather than relying on isolated and uncoordinated state interventions. According to him, the establishment of the Northwest Development Commission was a strategic response to decades of disjointed development programs that failed to deliver lasting and system-wide impact across the region. He noted that despite being Nigeria's largest agricultural belt and home to tens of millions of people, the Northwest continues to battle insecurity, infrastructure deficits, youth unemployment, climate stress, and weak access to social services. This is River State and the treasure base of the nation. We must build and take her to greater heights. It is a task we must accomplish. Don't forget we are live on YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. You can do us a favor, click on that bell so you get live feed straight from the studios. Coming up, death toll in Indonesia landslides rises to 50. And in sports, CAF approves new venue for Falconets versus Senegal qualifier. These and many other details are coming up on the other side of the news.
The Omega Power Ministries OPM Worldwide presents the first Dr. Jesus Night with Coconut for the year 2026. It is a night of intense worship, prophetic prayers, and declarations. It is a night of spiritual realignment for the year ahead. It is a night where gates will be lifted and barriers broken. It is a night where God Himself will open the door of 2026 for us. Doors of glory, doors of nations, doors of increase, doors of dominion, doors of influence and affluence will be opened for us, and no man can shut it. Date Friday, 6th February 2026. Time 8 p.m. till dawn. Venue OPM headquarters, Dr. Jesus City, Mbodo Alo, River State, Nigeria. Come ready to pray with your coconut, and the heavens will respond, and access will be granted to us this 2026.
Which word did they show action? That your kingdom work will be distraction.
OPM, Dr. Jesus in action. Dr. Jesus in action. God is here.
This is Rstv World News. We bring you world-class news, accurate, first-hand, entertaining, balanced analysis. Rstv, Channel 22 Port Harcourt.
Welcome to more news. The military junta from Guinea-Bissau comes a report that it is no longer seeking to arrest a senior opposition politician who has been on the run, an opposition official said on Saturday. Another prominent opposition leader whom the military released from prison only on Friday has now been placed under house arrest. The junta imprisoned several senior politicians after overthrowing President Umaru Sissoco Embalo and seizing power on 26 November, just after the presidential election and before the official results were released. The military suspended the electoral process and Embalo fled the country. His main election rival, Fernando Diaz, who said he had won the vote, escaped arrest by taking sanctuary in the Nigerian embassy. A report says more than 200 people have been killed in a mine collapse in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The mine in the town of Lubaya gave way on Wednesday due to heavy rains. Lumumba Kabera Muyisa, spokesman for the North Kivu region's rebel governor, told reporters at the time. It said the death toll remained unclear. Women and children were among those mining coltan, a mineral used to manufacture electronics such as smartphones and computers at the time. A former supervisor of the mine said the site was not properly maintained, making accidents more likely and hampering rescue efforts when they occur. An intense downpour triggered the landslide that hit Pasir Lango village in an area southeast of the capital Jakarta, damaging more than 50 houses and displacing about 650 people in Indonesia. Head of the local search and rescue agency, Ade Dian Permana, said thousands of rescuers, helped by the military, police, and volunteers, have been digging through the mud searching for victims. They had recovered and identified 53 bodies by Saturday. At least 10 people are still missing, he said, but clearer weather was helping this search. The Indonesian Navy has said that 23 personnel who were training in the area were among those who were caught in the landslide. The United States mission in Nigeria has announced a temporary suspension of regular updates on its official X account due to a lapse in U.S. government appropriations, while assuring the public that passport and visa services will continue as the situation permits. According to a statement by the mission disclosed in a post on its verified X handle on Saturday, the account will not be updated regularly until full operations resume, with the exception of urgent safety and security information. The mission clarified that scheduled passport and visa services in the United States and at U.S. embassies and consulates overseas would continue, depending on how the situation unfolds. At this time, scheduled passport and visa services in the United States and at U.S. embassies and consulates will continue during the lapse in appropriations as the situation permits. Remember, we had told you earlier that the River State Governor, Sir Siminala Yufubara, has called on the State Care Steering Committee to ensure escalation of sensitization across the state on the need to sustain biodiversity and collaboration. The State Chief Executive stated this at the Reef Cares Phase 1 program or performance review retreat held at Onne in Eleme local government area. God's finally reports that the program was organized by the Office of the Auditor General in conjunction with the State Cares Coordination Unit.
Represented by the Secretary to the Rivers State Government, Benibo Anabraba, Governor Fubara described the theme of the program, appreciating success, accepting weakness, and willingness to tackle challenges in subsequent phase of the program as appropriate, while restating the willingness of his administration to supporting the program aimed at meeting the yearnings and aspirations of the people.
The Rivers State Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus, RIPCARES, is one of such initiatives promulgated to achieve this purpose. Its objective includes access to livelihood support, food security services, grants to poor and vulnerable households. It also provides for employment of youth, agri inputs and services, infrastructure, access to water, and improve sanitary conditions.
River State Head of Service, Dr. Nyenge Brown, represented by her Director of Special Duties, Den Apana, and the Chairman State Care Steering Committee, Professor Peter Mede, shared their views.
It is our collective responsibility to ensure that every naira spent delivers value. I am confident that the outcomes of this retreat will strengthen implementation frameworks, enhance performance outcomes, and further enrich a culture of transparency and result in our public service.
This program is actually a social protection program targeted at the weak and the vulnerable households so that we can alleviate their poverty as well as community development. Another very key aspect of this program is to enhance food security.
Acting Auditor General, Rivers State, Dr. Christian Yokna, said his office will ensure that projects are spread across the 23 local government areas of the state and promised to visit remote areas during the second phase of the exercise to assess the projects. He advised the participants to ensure that every schedule with banks reaches the beneficiaries of the fund. State Coordinator, State Cares Unit, Imonyani Ifren George, chronicled the history of the program, noting that the essence of the Phase 1 Performance Review Retreat was to check successes recorded, areas of failure, desire to tackle challenges, and the way forward.
What reports are expected? How relevant is the project to the community you are citing it? What is the value of that project compared to the amount released for the project? Also permitted to use my private valuers to assess some of your projects.
From the community-driven development section of the program, we've been able to give them potable water. We've also addressed issues regarding hygiene and sanitation.
God's Power Anele, Rstv News.
Let's take a look at some entertainment news. The countdown to the 68th Grammy Awards has begun, with Nigerian music once again taking center stage on the global scene. The ceremony is set for Sunday, 1st of February 2026 at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, where 5 Nigerian artists are nominated and vying for music's most prestigious honors, highlighting the nation's rising dominance in the international music landscape. Burna Boy leads the charge with 2 nominations, reinforcing his status as one of Africa's most reliable Grammy contenders. He is up for Love in the Best African Music Performance category and No Sign of Weakness in Best Global Music Album. Davido makes a return with a nod for With You, featuring Omalay in Best African Music Performance. Fresh off massive international tours and collaborations, the track, a lead single from his album 5, shattered records with 4.98 million naira first week streams, 4.98 million first week streams on Spotify Nigeria in 2025. Ira Star secures another major spotlight with Gimme That, featuring Wizkid, also in Best African Music Performance. Wizkid adds to his storied Grammy history through his feature on Gimme That. Omalay joins the list via his feature on Davido's With You. Known for his deeply emotional and vulnerable style, this note shows how his music resonates far beyond Nigeria's shores, marking a milestone in his growing recognition. Adding historic weight, Afrobeat legend Fela Anikulapo Kuti will receive a posthumous Lifetime Achievement Award, the first African artist to earn this honor. He'll be celebrated alongside icons like Whitney Houston, Chaka Chan, Cher, and Paul Simon at a special Merit Awards ceremony later today. Now, sports. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has approved the Nigeria Football Federation's request to change the venue for the 2026 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup third-round qualifier between Nigeria's Falconets and Senegal. The first leg match, slated for 7 February, will now take place at the MKO Abiola Sports Complex in Abeokuta, Ogun State, instead of the Lekon Salami Stadium in Ibadan. NFF Director of Competitions Ruth David confirmed the development in a statement issued on Friday in Abuja, explaining that the decision was necessitated by the deteriorating condition of the Ibadan pitch, which had earlier been approved for the fixture. The Lekon Salami Stadium previously hosted the Falconets' second leg encounter against Rwanda in September 2025. Don't forget, River State is the treasure base of the nation. Let's build and take her to greater heights. It is a task we must accomplish. We are live on YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. Just click that bell so that you receive us live when we are in the studios. And now to end the news, another look at some of the reports we had for this evening. The River State Governor, Sir Siminala Ifubara, has called on the State Care Steering Committee to ensure that it escalates sensitization across the state on the need to sustain biodiversity in collaboration with other companies. Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barrow Jibrin, and the Chairman, Senate Committee on the Northwest Development Commission, Senator Babangida Hussaini, has called for a coordinated economic rescue of the Northwest, warning that years of fragmented development efforts have deepened the region's challenges. We had also told you the Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, has urged Nigerians to file their annual tax reforms. That's it. Thank you for staying with us from start to finish. Have a beautiful weekend.